Hey Quench Crew, everyone talks about how cheap it is to live abroad, but is it really that cheap? Or are there some hidden costs that you may not have thought about? That's what we're going to talk about today, the hidden costs of moving abroad. Now these not necessarily are deal breakers, but we think that they are some things that should be top of mind as you plan a life abroad. Hi, I'm Lynn.
Hi, I'm Jace.
And welcome to our channel,
Gen X Quench,
where we talk about all things for the future retirement life. We are designing the next stage of our life, and what that means, it could be living abroad, it is travel right now and in the future, it's finances and leaving a legacy. So if that sounds good to you, why don't you join us as part of the Quench Crew and subscribe to our channel? We appreciate that. And join us for this video, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. So now on to the hidden cost of living abroad. We have 7 of them, and Jace is going to kick us off with the first one.
The first hidden cost, visa and residency fees. So if you think about it, you got to pay for visas and you need to reapply sometimes annually. So you've got things like attorney's fees, application fees, renewal fees, etc. So that can eat into any savings that you have, as well as some countries actually require bank deposits. I tried to do a little bit of research, and the cheapest bank deposits generally are like a Paraguay, which could be as low as $4,500, and the most expensive, wait for this, Jordan, the country of Jordan, is 1 to 1.5 million in bank deposits for residency there. So, whoo, mind blown there. So those are the first set of costs, hidden costs.
Second set of costs that you may not be thinking about is the trips back home. So once you go abroad, it's probably going to be opportunities and occasions where you're going to have to come back home. So you may have an increase in airfare and air travel returning back to the States or your point of origin, whatever the home is. Unless you decide to miss out, and we've talked about that before, is that's one of the challenges of living abroad. But if there are last minute trips back home, if there are holidays where the price of airfare is higher, all of those things can add up, and it may be extra hundreds or thousands of dollars that you may be spending in returning back to the States or your point of origin if you do live abroad. So just something to keep in mind.
Next set of hidden costs are healthcare and insurance. Obviously, that's top of mind. The older you get, you want to understand healthcare. Mm-hmm. So for private insurance, you got to get that when you move to another country. That could range from $2,000 to $3,000 a year for those age 60. And if you're 65, that could creep up to $10,000 a year. So you would need to make sure you budget for that. Also, U.S. Medicare is not accepted in many countries. So you're going to, again, need to get that private insurance outside. And if you come back to the States, you got to be covered there. If you didn't keep your Medicare, so you got to budget for that. And lastly, prescription differences. So abroad, there are many generics that could be cheaper, but you don't have the copay and all of that. You got to pay fully out of pocket. So you would need to budget for that as well.
Okay. And number 4. Taxes in 2 countries. As a U.S. citizen, you still will be responsible to file and pay your taxes. So you don't get away from that.
Uncle Sam wants his money.
Uncle Sam wants his money. Uncle Sam's going to get his money. Sure. So you still need to budget for U.S. taxes. And then in the country that you're living in, there may be local taxes, VAT, property taxes if you decide to own property. And then sometimes in some countries, aren't there double taxation agreements? Yes. Where if you're making money in another country, you will have to pay taxes on that money in your home country and in the country that you're residing in. So that's definitely something to look into as far as where you land, what that tax situation may be, because if there's double taxes on the income that you're making, that may not be a deal breaker, but it's definitely something that you need to consider and be mindful of.
Definitely consult a tax expert in the countries you are looking at for expert advice. We're not CPAs, we're not foreign tax experts, so just want to put that disclaimer out there.
Right.
The next hidden cost is cost of imported goods. So, I know as an American, I have my favorite American brands where there's food, electronics, all of those sorts of things. So those can get sticker shocked with tariffs and other taxes. So they can be pricey when you go to another country. And then also you got lifestyle inflation. Like as an American, you kind of want to live at a certain level. Well,
Yeah.
that level could cost more in another country. Just depends on the country. So again, you got to do your research. So you got a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in the USA. What does that cost abroad? If you still want that lifestyle and not willing to downsize, that could be pricey. So again, do your due diligence.
Right, yeah, because you're not necessarily trying to sacrifice quality of life. You're trying to improve it. Now that may mean something smaller, but you still may want the modern conveniences. You may want, a modern kitchen. You may
Right.
want the washer and dryer in your unit. And some of those things will cost extra, as opposed to when you hear so many people talking about, you can live abroad for $800 a month. You can live on $1,200 a month. It may be more to have the creature comforts that you're used to from the standpoint of the lifestyle that you currently have. The number 6 hidden cost that we want to discuss is about language and integration, and really integration into that local community and that local culture. So if English is not the primary language of where you're going to, then you may need to consider some language classes and learning how to do that. And yeah, you can maybe self-teach and try to get by, but we've talked to lots of expats and they do take Spanish lessons. Not necessarily, that are living in a place that a Spanish speaking country, and they do it in person. They have a private tutor. And so all of those costs can add up, and it's a hidden cost that you may not think about, but it still can be tens, hundreds of dollars added as far as being able to integrate into the local country. The other thing is just integration as far as lifestyle and setting up home in another place. Now, yes, you can consider hoteling, you can consider Airbnb and going to furnished places, but there still will be things that you need in that to set up house. So, do you need to buy pots and pans? Are there garbage cans that you need to buy? Because chances are, if you're living abroad, you really are taking your electronics, your clothes, your shoes, your personal care items, but everything else that you need on a daily basis, you're going to have to buy when you get there. So the integration into another country to make it feel like home is going to carry with it some costs that could be low or it could be significant. So you just need to be aware that you're going to have to purchase items that you probably already have here but can't take with you and then have to buy when you get to your destination. And for the last one?
Well, I'm going to go back to yours.
Oh, okay.
So language hack. Here's one. ChatGPT is a wonderful tutor. So you can ask it if you got the free version. Get a little free tutorial there. So if you got the paid version, you've already got a paid tutor. You just got to prompt it correctly. So just a tip there.
Okay.
The last one, number 7 hidden costs are trial and error as you go into different countries. So you may have to move multiple times. We've done a lot of research on Panama, so I've heard stories of American expats who swear they want the soft life and they want to be by the ocean, so they move out to Coronado and they quickly discover after about 3 months, okay, the beach is fun, but there's nothing else to do. So then they end up moving to Panama City because they got the hustle and bustle and more social life and more maybe expats that they vibe with. So you may have to experiment. You may start in one city, move to another city, or you may say this country is not for me altogether, not to fly somewhere else. So, there's that pivot, but there comes cost with that pivot. Another one is short-term rentals. So if you're going to do the kind of move around and, okay, let me get an Airbnb. Airbnb contracts are typically more expensive than if you got a long-term rental somewhere.
True.
So again, there's that hidden cost. So those are things you want to think about as you are exploring other countries.
Great.
Yep.
So Quench Crew, we hope that this has been helpful for you, giving you some things that maybe you haven't thought about as far as in the hidden costs of living abroad. Add to the comments something that resonated with you. Is there something that we missed? Are you living abroad now and found that there was something that, I didn't realize or budget for this, and it would have been great for me to think about that? Add that to the comments. Join us in the conversation, because this is something that you have to be mindful of. And as I've said, they're not necessarily deal breakers, but just something to be mindful of as you budget for that future life abroad. Or if you are living abroad, let us know, were we on the mark or have we missed it? Anything else?
I think that's it for today.
Okay, well, Quench Crew, as always, we thank you for joining us for this video. We hope you found it informative. Like, share, and definitely hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of our future videos. And we will see you on the next Gen X Quench video.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.